Just got back from a long day of working and at the beach. As you can see, this kid is looking like a lobster. This kid is like half lobster.
Too. You just can't see it yet.
And what are we talking about in today's video?
So we're going to talk about the role that fitness plays in being a Christian, the role it played in the Bible, things people might have overlooked, and just why overall fitness and strength is important, just in general.
And like health, health too.
Yeah, for sure. Want to start us off?
Yeah, I think that it's the biggest. I mean, when you think of it, when you go back in the ages, they're not eating a bunch of bullshit. Mm-hmm. They're just grinding hard every single day and that's why these soldiers, they have 2,000, 2,500 testosterone. It's like, think of the environment and the stuff that they're putting in their body. It's the most optimal, and that's what we try to replicate every single day.
That's right.
When we're playing football on the beach and stuff, we're trying to simulate, basically going to war with each other. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but it's that competitive environment, and that's the biggest thing when it comes to just connecting to how we are supposed to live. That's the thing, and that's why so many people are just disconnected with that environment and that thought process and the actual inputs that they do, because the world is just so messed up with all these things, and if you're not locked in with the right things, you're just going to go down the wrong path.
For sure. I think it's interesting how in the Bible they talk about eating red meat. They talk about slaughtering the fattened calf, which is red meat. They talk about raw milk and raw honey, which is also funny because they say in 2025, oh yeah, cholesterol and red meat's bad for you. Oh, raw milk is terrible for you. They were fucking glazing raw milk like it was the fucking best thing. Oh yeah, milk, the land of milk and honey. It's like, they were eating whole foods only. They were all high test, as he said. They were all jacked. And now it's like we have fat slobs, fat soy boys with no motivation. There's no God in 2025. It's like the further we've moved away from whole foods is like the worse off and less, God-fearing people have become. It's kind of interesting. Obviously, it could not be directly correlated, but, the more unhealthy people get, it's like weak body equals weak mind equals less religion.
And I want to say this before anything. You guys need to realize that, society as a whole now, the whole purpose is to disconnect you from God.
Oh, yeah.
It's to disconnect you from God, to just go down this path to where you're controlled. Because when you don't have a connection with God, you are controlled. And that's the whole point of all this stuff, with the processed foods, the lifestyle, the stuff that you're indoctrinated in your mind with what you think and your subconscious mind, even the smallest things, like rap songs, people are listening to that shit every single hour of the day when they're in the grocery store and stuff, but that's making them think about drugs and all this bullshit. It's like this whole indoctrination of disconnecting yourself from God is what you need to realize at the end of that. Because when you have that realization, you're almost aware of everything that you're doing in your life.
Yeah, and I think social media is a big part too. I think social media kind of breeds all the seven deadly sins. Oh, you're scrolling on social media, you're being lazy, you're committing sloth. Oh yeah, gluttony, I'm just scrolling for more and more and more, and you can never get enough of scrolling and watching shit. Lust, oh, there's girls in bikinis pics, you're looking at that shit. Anger, oh, I'm fucking angry that this guy's doing better than me. Jealousy, oh, this person is a better bitch than me, a better girl than me, oh, he has more money than me. It's like, social media is the biggest thing right now. And if you're not using it to better yourself, it's probably just making you worse. Every kid, every person's on fucking social media. I don't know the percentages, but that's definitely another big reason why people are going away from church. As social media and Instagram, TikTok, as these things have been, going up, religion's been going down for sure.
Sure. I mean, look at just, you can get into all the deep philosophical stuff, but just look on the surface level. I mean, who were the people that God was choosing to, lead all the way up until the coming of Christ, right? It was Jesus' bloodline. It's David, Solomon, right? These are strong people. David, I mean, look at not Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo's depiction of the statue of David. Guy's jacked, guy's in shape. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but just based off of what we know about the people at the time, these were strong, capable individuals, right? God wasn't choosing the most, weak individual or passive individual or someone with no, vitality to carry out, his prophecies, to carry out his bidding, right? And then you can even look at Jesus himself. I mean, we know Jesus was a carpenter. We know that he was extremely physically active, right? He was traversing long distances and pretty rough terrain. And also he carried the cross physically, having been wounded. And according to estimates, that cross probably weighed about 300 pounds, and he carried it a very long distance uphill while being mocked, while being tortured. Like a weak individual, a physically weak individual could not do that, right? So, you know, if you want to get into the whole everyone carries their cross kind of thing, and if you believe in the whole, you know, worldview of Christianity that we are meant to suffer to a degree, and you got to be physically strong enough to carry that suffering, right? Because life's hard enough, but you make it 10 times harder when you're physically weak, when you don't have energy, when you don't have motivation, discipline, when you're just lacking in all these other areas. Dealing with the general stresses of life just becomes exponentially more difficult.
I remember in the last podcast, you were talking about how being in shape and being strong is honoring God. So if you look at it from the opposite perspective, if you're going to be weak, fat, and lazy, then you're honoring the devil. It's pretty much demonic to not be strong and righteous and true to yourself and God at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they say Christ was like the only perfect human being, I think, besides Mother Mary, which is like questionable. But I know Christ is the one who, you know, they say, oh, you should be Christ-like. Like if Christ is freaking carrying a 300-pound cross up a massive ass hill, like all humans should basically be able to do that through that logic. So I mean, you know, we can talk about all the not sinning and being moral and all this stuff, but like at least being physically fit. Like let's be Christ-like, guys. Let's be jacked. Let's be high test and not be, you know, fucking lazy, because Christ was obviously the opposite of that if he's giving his life for all humanity, right? So
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is having a purpose, because, you know, Jesus had a purpose. All these religious figures, they all had purposes in life, and if you don't know your purpose, you're never going to unlock that next version of yourself. You know, when we were in 203, you know, we were going to the gym, we were lifting and stuff, but what actually made me take things more serious to, you know, not drink anymore, you know, not do all these bullshit habits anymore, is because, like, I want to help as many people as possible, and how do I expect to do that if I can't help myself?
100%.
And a lot of you guys, you want to help other people, you want to help your family members and stuff, but you can't help yourself. If you can't help yourself, it doesn't matter what you try to tell other people, because they're not going to believe you at the end of the day. So you have to be living proof. That's exactly what Jesus was. He was living proof of everything that he preached, and that's why people were believing in him, even though there was nothing to see. You know, they talked about it at church the other day. All you need is one page of belief, even if there's 4,000 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so convincing that people believed one page, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
So you need to believe that you're capable of this journey, and you understand the purpose of what you're doing, so that you can actually get it done.
Yeah, and also, like, even if you're not gonna be a fitness influencer or health influencer, like, if you are in shape, you will live longer. Like, if, let's say Donald Trump, like, I'm not really supporting either side here, but just for example, like, if he wanted to, you know, keep running for president or stay in office, if he was in shape and not eating McDonald's and being a fat ass, he would be able to live probably like an extra 10, 20, 30 years. But he looks like he might die, like, you know, 5, 10 years. But like, if you get in shape, you can actually help more people and fulfill your purpose more, because you're living longer and you have more time to be able to help more people. Like, the more time you're doing something, the more people you're gonna help on average. So, you know, you guys are like, oh, I can still do my job and be great, but like, you're gonna die sooner. You know, you're gonna be old and, you know, wrinkled and incapable sooner, versus if you were in shape, you could be working until you're 60. You could be coaching people till you're 70. You could be building a business till you're fucking 80. It's like, oh, but I'm just gonna half-ass with my health, it doesn't fucking matter, but then you die at fucking 70 instead of fucking 90.
It's literally control or be controlled, because it's like you're either taking control of your own life, having the autonomy to go to the gym and eat healthy and all this stuff, and then it might feel like you're not being controlled, but if you're eating junk food, playing video games constantly, like just getting sucked into social media and everything, then you're the one that's being controlled. And it's that much easier, for going back to religion, for, like, you could say the devil, whether or not you're religious, to take over your mind and turn you into something that you wouldn't want to look like, a person you wouldn't want to be, with the habits that you don't want to have. And it's going to be a lot harder to have a family, lead your family and friends, if you want to start a business or you want to embark on any other entrepreneurial pursuits. It's going to be a lot harder to do that if you're not taking care of yourself and not having full control over your life.
Yeah, because you have less discipline, less energy, less drive, less mental clarity. Like, we've talked about this in all our fucking podcasts. Like, when you're eating bullshit food, when your sleep schedule's fucked up, and your test is low, like, there's so many side effects. Like, oh, low energy, you gotta take naps, so you can't work as long. It's like, if you just optimize your body, you're gonna maximize your chances of success in any realm, realistically, with girls, with business, with anything.
let's go back. Let's go back to even before the events in the Bible took place, right? Or at least the New Testament. You go back through history, any high point in history was carried out by who? Right? A capable, strong man, right? It's not even negotiable. From Julius Caesar to Alexander the Great, right? Not the only reason, but part of how the New Testament even came into existence, or why it was possible for Christianity to spread like it did, was because it was in the fallout of Alexander the Great's empire. He had Hellenized all of the Mediterranean, not all of the Mediterranean, but key points of the Mediterranean, all the way into the Middle East, into the Persian Empire, right? And this is where Christianity really took hold and how it spread. And you can even see through where the apostles were sending letters to. That's where Alexander the Great's empire was. That's where Rome was. So it was able to take place because strong men came into the world and shaped the world, right? Every high point in human history started because of a strong man or a group of strong men carrying out a certain objective or exerting their vitality into the world to create something, to build something, or in some cases to destroy something, right? Sometimes destruction is necessary, right? Alexander the Great was 16 when he started leading men into battle. Do you think he was like skinny and scrawny and not physically capable?
Yeah,
right, exactly. No,
So
he was. Imagine.
He was like a 16-year-old, like 12.
Imagine
So
some like neck beard, just like Reddit nerd, just like little pot belly on a horse. Imagine that's the guy that kills you, bro.
Yeah, 0% chance.
That would suck.
Probably like 1,000 tests at 16.
Probably, bro. Yeah, I mean, he took control of an empire at 20 after his dad was assassinated, and went and forged one of the biggest empires the world had ever seen up until that time, right? By 32 was when he died. So by 25, I think he pretty much made all his conquests. So, he wasn't some loser doing that. He had to be extremely physically capable, and also by extension mentally capable. Just as much as we talk about building your fitness and taking care of your body, that also, carries into taking care of your mind, educating yourself, whether that's listening to podcasts, whether that's reading books, whatever it is that you want to do to enhance your thinking capabilities, enhance your cognitive abilities. You need to be doing those things too, just as much as taking care of your fitness and going to the gym.
100%. And in those times, like, the obesity rate was like 0%. Like, look it up, literally 0%, because they were all eating whole foods. Everyone was walking around. Everyone was exercising. And like, I think the kings would be a little fat, maybe, because they would, have access to all the foods. They would stuff themselves. But it was basically 0%. And it's crazy now, like, I don't know the obesity rate now, but like, everyone I see on the fucking street just looks like shit. It's like, in the Bible, they weren't fucking doing that, King David wasn't a fat ass, he was shredded. Everyone's fucking shredded. All the Greek statues are fucking, shredded in their aesthetic. They weren't fucking fat black people or black ladies like in New York, whatever you were fucking talking about last podcast. But, you just have to really think about things logically, as we always say. It's like, whole foods, exercise, they're outside. They were drinking raw milk, eating the beef. They weren't fucking sitting around in the office all day, eating Twinkies and whatnot. It's just like...
Well, let's talk about kings who brought it up. And yeah, it's true too. After a certain amount of time, as you get closer to the modern era, you could see some kings were out of shape. But for most of human history, kings and the aristocracy in general were supposed to be the most in shape people. The aristocracy and the monarchies were supposed to be a representation of that nation, of that family. So by extension, they were the most physically fit because they had money and resources. They would spend their whole days training for warfare, combat. So these were not soft people by any means. Over time that's changed, but if you want to get into the modern day, how quickly or how drastically things have shifted, we're really the first generation to glorify obesity to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, even like 20 years ago, that was pretty unheard of, but now you have fat people in commercials, you got fat people statues, it's like accepted, like this is normal.
Yeah, it's like the Sports Illustrated magazine. Like, 20 years ago, if they put like a fat woman on a Sports Illustrated, the old heads would be like, bro, what the fuck's going on? Like, what is this? And, they get so much backlash. But if they do that now, like, no one says that.
Yeah, we're just slowly getting brainwashed. Like, it's slowly easing in all these weird ass satanic things. Oh, let's promote people being fat. Let's promote, satanic rappers. Oh, let's promote fucking, people being gay. It's like, I don't want to get too political, but it's like, why wouldn't you want people to reproduce? I don't know. It's just like, it's weird. It's weird. Like, they're making it so exciting and happy. Like, it's just a little bit, you can see the elites slowly trying to brainwash people into being, godless, fat, unhappy, all these weird things.
Well, it's demoralization.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to control a population that's not physically fit, that can't think for themselves, that is distracted by, everything around them, everything on their phone. It's a very easy society to manipulate.
Because then there's no free thinkers.
Exactly, and no one's strong enough or healthy enough to carry out, any kind of change.
Yeah.
People don't have energy to fight back, they're not physically strong, like all of these things. So, a docile population is easy to control. And sure, like, if you're unhappy with the way things are in the country or the world for that matter, yeah, it's going to be generations of making change. But that starts on the individual level. That starts with you. That starts with you setting the example for your family, who then follows your example, right? If you're a father, you're going to be a father. If you're a strong man, well, chances are your sons are going to be the same way, right? It's very important that they look up to you. I had a very strong dad. My dad was a stonemason, right? So physical strength was like his thing. He's still stronger than me to a degree, right? But I had that example and I wanted to be like him. Like, I looked up to him because he was like a powerful, righteous man. Like, he taught me a lot. So then by extension, when I have sons, I'm going to teach them the same things. I'm going to emphasize the same things. And it's just generations of improving the population.
And it goes the other way though too, like with people getting fatter, they're going to have fat kids, these, crazy people with dyed hair and all these piercings and all these weird tats. Like, they're going to have kids, and, society has been going downhill. You know what I mean? Like, more low IQ people, more fat people, more godless people. It's going to keep getting worse and worse unless you guys wake up and make a change. And that's what we're trying to do, spread it to the people and try to lead by example. But it's scary. It's scary. We'll see in the next 50 years what America and these countries end up like. But, we can already see other countries, falling down, losing, God and the Bible, and just getting more and more religionless.
It's, this has caveats, but you have to start embracing beauty. It sounds super cliche, but to a degree, beauty can change the world. Because what is beauty when you think about it? It's a representation of health, right? It's an outward and external expression of someone's health, someone's vitality. You see a pretty girl, she's probably healthy, right? You see a guy that's jacked, has a good physique, it's because he takes care of himself. And by extension, you can kind of see the same reflection in society. Back when we had statues of strong, in-shape men, beautiful women, everyone was in shape. That was like kind of the example, that was the standard. Now, everyone is slowly becoming uglier. We're putting up statues of ugly people. We're, not idolizing, or I don't think idolization is the right word, but we're not, looking up to people that are good examples.
Yeah.
And we're looking up to arguably like the lowest tier of society, right? These celebrities that they put in front of us, these rappers,
Porn stars.
Porn stars, OnlyFans girls, TV personalities, all this different stuff.
And these
and
are
that's
all
what
people who are
we're idolizing. Yeah.
These are all people who are like controlled too, like the celebrities and stuff. Like, they're not actually like themselves and stuff. Like, there's people behind the scenes who are
they sign the contracts.
Like when there's the presidential elections, always like random ass celebrities, like The Rock is supporting Joe Biden, and Chris Evans, who was Captain America, was like supporting Joe Biden. Like, do you think those guys actually give a fuck about who wins? Like, they have millions. Like, it's all just so political and just bought and paid for. It's like, you guys need to wake up and realize that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of corruption.
Leo DiCaprio being Kamala Harris supporter is definitely a curveball for me.
Yeah, like he's a fucking like womanizer, like high tech
Remember
playboy.
Remember when Kamala had what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion, and like the whole shit was like quiet, like when she was performing.
Yeah. Like, you think they actually give a fuck or know about politics? No, they're just fucking getting paid. Oh, here's $1 million and you can fucking put it on your social media and get all your followers to vote for me. It's like, it's so great.
Society would really be going to the wayside if an artist like, not to hate on her, but Megan Thee Stallion actually swayed the election. Like, oh my gosh, she had she had Megan Thee Stallion at her rally. Oh my gosh, you gotta vote for her now. Are you kidding me? Like, that's so crazy to me. That
there's probably a bunch of people that
there's definitely some demographics
Yeah.
that appeal to, but if it was that big to sway the election, that would have been tragic. Then we would have been screwed.
Yeah, it's just like a relatability thing. Like, oh, my favorite artist likes this. I'm gonna go, vote for him now. It's just this is why you gotta come back to just free.
The fact that those people exist is crazy to me. Like the fact that they don't like think for themselves at all. They just like
Which is
think
low
of
IQ.
Yeah, it's so low IQ. They're like, all right, this celebrity's voting for this person, so I should vote for him. Like that doesn't make any sense. That's so crazy. I
Yeah.
can't wrap my head around
I remember they had like Trump on the Joe Rogan podcast, and they were saying like that was one of the biggest things, like reasons why, because Joe Rogan was like not political, but then he kind of sided with Trump. But he like invited Kamala on, and she didn't want to go on.
I guess it does work both ways for both parties, but I don't know. I'm not getting political here either.
Yeah.
That is crazy though. I mean, someone at least like with Joe Rogan, and he interviews smart people and everything like that, so it makes sense. Like with just having Megan Thee Stallion at your rallies.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a rally, it was just an interview. Like I think that helped because they're actually like talking about.
She was like
smart
performing
shit.
too, though, right? I guess.
Yeah, no, it's just a rally, and she's just like
Cardi
playing
B.
her songs. Yeah.
Cardi B doing the speeches. I remember she was doing a speech.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's freaking crazy. But yeah, I mean, going back to the Bible, what else? I'm trying to think. Like, 10 Commandments, I feel like kind of relate to being healthy mentally, for sure. And the 7 deadly sins definitely are like a mix of mental and physical strength. But I think, it goes hand in hand. Weak body, weak mind, strong body, kind of.
Well, I think also too, what a lot of people don't realize, like when people were pointed out in the Bible for doing wrong things, lusting, being gluttonous,
Yeah.
they were negative reinforced. And a lot of people now, they do bad things and there's no negative reinforcement in their life. They're not penalized.
Yeah.
In fact, they're encouraged for all these things. And if you don't negatively reinforce people on their bad actions, it's just going to continue to happen, and it spreads more widely,
Yeah.
with eating processed food, with drinking, with all this stuff, which at the end of the day is sinning.
Mm-hmm.
And, even lusting and all this stuff, people aren't negatively reinforced, and they do it over and over again. And that's another big thing that not many people talk about.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And, going back to, more historical examples, like we were talking about earlier with, how the world changes because of strong men, because of capable men. Look at the example of Harold Hardrada. He's a pretty famous person if you know European history. He was a Viking, and he lost his kingdom. He was young, he was like 19. He was supposed to be the heir to the throne. This guy goes on like a 10-year long, could have the time messed up, but a very long journey of going down into the Kievan Rus, recruiting troops, trying to marry the princess, going into the Byzantine Empire, killing, usurpers to the throne, serving in the Varangian Guard, winning all these battles, and then ultimately returning home and fighting for his throne and then invading England, right? No weak person could do that. He was doing that really for the sake of his bloodline. If he did not, become a royal again, if he did not secure the throne, well then he's letting down his descendants, right? He's letting down his children that are also supposed to be heirs to the throne, that are also supposed to rule in his place. So, you can extrapolate that and say, it starts with you being in shape, you being capable, so that you can set the precedent for your family and have more energy, have more strength to fight for things for your family and for what's right, ultimately. Because if we're going to talk about being a good Christian, we're the best Christian you can be. Not saying we're the furthest thing from perfect Christians, but if you believe in something or you believe you deserve more, it starts with being physically capable enough to defend it, to fight for it, to have the energy, to have the vitality to go out and seize it for yourself or for your loved ones.
100%. I think going back to negative reinforcement, you're talking about like how we don't really condemn bad actions. Like we think, oh, body positivity. Oh, I can't tell my wife she's fat. I don't want to hurt her feelings. Like God was hurting people's feelings when people were fucking up. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, they were all sitting and like having all these orgies. He destroyed everyone in there and turned it to what, salt or whatever. He killed all these people. God did. God killed people who were bad. The great flood with Noah. Everyone was sitting. Everyone was fucked up except Noah. He killed the entire human race. And we think, oh, it's bad to talk shit on fat people, which is clearly a sin. We think it's bad to talk shit on, groups of people who sin a lot. It's like, we should be condemning it and getting rid of it. Like, we should be, ending obesity, like, through force. Like, that's what God was doing. If God can do it, like, what's wrong with me saying, oh, it's bad you're a fat ass? Like, it's for the good of society and it's actually a good thing. But people are so scared to like condemn people or negatively reinforce people. It's like, you know, if God was literally destroying fucking huge ass cities full of people who were sinning, it's like, you know, why would it be bad to do that?
And go back to, you know, the overarching message of Christianity and of the gospel. It's, you know, it's sacrifice, but it's also love. You know, God sent his only begotten son to die for our sins, and he gave up his life so that we might find salvation. So, and to negative reinforcement as well, or positive, you could say this is some kind of positive reinforcement. If you love someone and you care about that person and you see them slowly poisoning themselves, slowly killing themselves, you do have an obligation to try your best to step in, right? Some people just don't want to be helped, and there's nothing you can really do about that. But, you know, if you have a sibling or your partner, like your wife, your husband, you know, a friend, whatever, and you just see them, you know, wasting their life away, doing dumb shit, eating dumb shit, you know, not being the best version of themselves, you have to tell them. You have to, like, have a serious heart-to-heart, like, with them for sure. Because if you just let them go, do you really care about that person? Probably not, right? So, you know, again, watch out for the people around you, help them, you know, show them compassion, because they're probably thinking the same thing. They just kind of need to hear it from someone else or someone that they trust, someone that, you know, whose opinion they value. So they're probably just looking for that extra reinforcement of like, okay, I do need to change. Like, you know, I have someone to hold me accountable, because most people can't hold themselves accountable.
I mean, you know what they say, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him boost his test.
That's
Exactly. But I mean, guys, yeah, heaven and hell are definitely real. You know, you can keep fucking off and half-assing, but like that's what I think about, like when I want to sin and, you know, do all this shit. It's like, you know, I'm not really trying to go to hell, to be honest. I'm trying to go to heaven. So, you know, believe it or not, I mean, you can take that gamble. If you want to be an atheist, we can go down that rabbit hole. But like, you know, it's better just to live morally. You know, if you live in sin, nothing really happens. It's better just for society in general to love your neighbor, to not kill people, to not lie, to not be lazy, all these things. You know, it's just better for society overall. So.
exactly, and that, again, that carries back to the individual. I'm a huge believer in the group, in the community, in the nation, right? In the people that make up the country. But it starts at an individual level, right? You know, like these guys, they're helping as many people as possible get in the best shape of their life. And by extension, those people are helping other people. Those people are fathers. They're helping their sons. So they're making a massive impact. And all of the people that they're helping, by extension, are going to make a massive impact, right? And we want this momentum to spread. We want this message to spread so that more people do get in shape. More people start taking their lives seriously. Because it's really not about just physical fitness. Like that is one component that allows you to go and do everything else. It's just a foundation. And if you don't have a strong foundation, you're not going to be able to do really anything else. So over time, you know, if everyone does their part, everyone, you know, starts getting in shape, starts taking their life serious, starts trying to find ways to, you know, build themselves up, build their families up, and producing a net positive impact on society. By extension, society will improve. You know, people want to complain that, you know, oh, we don't have any say in what happens in our government. It's like, yeah, like to an extent that's true, but if we as people, as the people of this country, as the people of this world, can start making a change in our own lives, and by extension, make changes in other people's lives, that has a lasting effect, that has a generational effect, right? And like we talked about, this is going to be a generational issue. All the shit that we're dealing with now, all the problems, all the fucked up shit that you see on the internet, going on in the world and world governments, it's not going to go away overnight, right? So it starts with really just healing the population, you know, depoisoning everyone, and essentially just paving a new way, starting a new way of life, fixing people's bodies, fixing people's minds, and overall just creating a better, healthier society for generations to come. You know, we might not see the fruits of our labor now, we might not see the fruits of our labor when we die, really, but, you know, besides with our family. But over time, if you see the vision, you can see that we can definitely make a change.
Yeah, and it all starts with you. You know, your body is your temple, and you can't help other people if you don't help yourself. And like you said, it's a generational thing. You know, it spreads to someone else, and then it spreads to their kids, that helps other kids, that helps more kids, and all of it's derived from you. You know, you can't see this stuff and still do bullshit. You can't see this stuff and not tell other people. Because if you're not helping other people, you're also not helping yourself. So you need to spread the word of the knowledge that you know so that other people can be free thinkers and help other people as well. Because I think that's kind of what made me more of a free thinker before. You know, even when I was in high school and stuff, I didn't have, you know, the depth perception of things compared to when I met you guys, you know? That's the biggest thing. You have to be around people and you have to learn from other people so that you can see things with a different vision and learn and to project those things to other people as well.
Yeah, and I was gonna say we were all kind of soy boys at one point. I mean, he was probably the least amount of a soy boy, but like growing up, like, you know, I was smoking weed, playing games. Like, no, I feel like he was the most like based since birth, probably. I mean, I didn't really know him in high school, but like, you know, I mean, he was a stoner, I was a stoner. He was like covered in acne, like, you know, soy boy. Like I had acne, I was like 160. Like we were all like absolute soy boys at one point. So we're not saying this to be like talking like you're fat, you're a sinner, we're perfect. It's like we were all soy boys, and we were probably all going down the wrong path at some point. I definitely was. And we've, you know, I've made the change and now I'm here. It's like I easily could have been a brainwashed soy boy, still playing video games after work, still watching Netflix, still eating fast food, still smoking weed and drinking every weekend. Like I could easily have been that if I didn't actually make a change, wake up, get in the gym, become healthy and become motivated. Like I easily could have been an average Joe soy boy. And all of us easily could have been there too. And, you know, we were all down there, like, you were a stoner in high school, like, you know.
Yeah, maybe a little bit in the beginning of college, but that's why these guys are able to talk their shit, because you guys were on that side. They were where you guys are at right now, or most of you for the most part, but they made it to the other side. I mean, look at these guys. Like, I'm not trying to glaze too hard, but
yeah.
Like, I mean, I feel like it's definitely more fulfilling and rewarding, and you can have a better impact on other people when you are on that bad side, to know what that's like, so you can actually relate to your audience and be able to help them, guide them to where you're at now.
Yeah, and it comes back to the self-belief. Like, if we can do it, why don't you believe that you can do it too? Like, I if you've seen pictures on my Instagram, like, I used to be an absolute little skinny, pale fucking twink. Like, bro, if I can do it, you guys can too. You know what I mean? Like, if they can do it too, like, why don't you believe that you can? Like, why not? If we can do it, you can literally do it too. And that's the biggest thing.
It's like also cutting out like all your soy boy friends and stuff. Like, you think Alexander the Great was fucking hanging around soy boys?
No, fuck no.
He wasn't hanging with twins.
No.
Yeah.
He had his boys that they were riding on horseback, killing shit, conquering shit, and his like teacher was Aristotle. So, dude was pretty set.
What's the shit where people go face to face with horses with a sword?
Like
jousting.
Jousting. Like, people would kill their friends back then just because they'd be like fucking around doing that shit.
Yeah.
Just practice. Just
Yeah. They like go out, get on their horses and do that, and then one would just end up dying.
Do
So
you
just
even
that.
blood sport with your boys?
Exactly.
Do
Like,
you?
Exactly.
and now people are scared to fucking, you know, like post a Instagram story or some shit.
It is crazy, like how like, it's almost disheartening in a way, because you don't really like come into your own as a man, or you don't really figure out really what you want to even do until you come out of college or till you're around like in your early 20s. You might have like kind of an idea, but so many of these like historical figures were like super young, like teenagers. Like Alexander was leading men into battle at 16. You know, Augustus was pretty young when he came into power. He went before he worked his way up to essentially emperor or imperator. You know, Alexander was 20 when he became king. You know, a lot of these guys, even look at the founding fathers of this country. All these guys were like in their early 20s, right? Doing big shit, like creating countries, fighting wars.
Like George Washington was like a fucking war general, right? Like he was a general before.
Well, he started young, and then I think by the time the Revolutionary War came around, he was like probably in his 30s or 40s. But
I mean, hot take. I feel like we might have it a little bit harder now because they didn't have any distractions. Like, what else was there for them to do realistically?
Yeah.
We had like Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
There's so
all
many
that.
distractions.
So many distractions.
and the world functioned differently. Like, you know, there was definitely a pursuit of glory, a pursuit of honor, of, combat and fighting was like a way to prove yourself as a man. A lot of people, if you know anything about the Spartans, they sent their young boys off, I think at like 7 or 8 years old, to the Agoge to train in combat, to train in stealth. And, they didn't really graduate, I think, until they were like in their late teens or early 20s. That's when they officially became soldiers. Even go back less than 100 years ago to World War I, World War II. You had so many guys lying about their age. They were like 16, 17 years old, sometimes younger, lying about their age to enlist in the military to go fight in wars that we're going to talk about forever. Mm-hmm. Like, it's pretty insane. Even, Harold Hardrada that I mentioned earlier, he was 19 when he was fighting for his throne. Like, 19.
Yeah. I think the moral of the story is, like, the sooner that you can wake up and realize, that you need to wake up, the more successful you will be. Like, if we were all starting this shit and knew about all these things when we were fucking 15 and started back then versus, like, 18, 19, like, we would have saved so much time. And, time is money, obviously, but, like, it takes a lot of guys way too long to wake up. Like, I woke up pretty late, maybe around 20 years old. Like, if I could have known about all this shit since birth, I'd be way further ahead. I always say this, but, like, that's why you stop wasting time and actually go all in and cut out the vice and do all these things that we fucking tell you.
Yeah, and realize that society is probably holding you back, and that it once meant weak. Society once meant weak. Back when Rome, the Roman Empire, every single person, guy that was being born, it was probably inevitable that they were a strong man at one point, because that's just how society was formed, to make men strong. But it's literally the opposite today.
Yeah.
It's formed to make men weak. And if you don't realize that right now, you're going to get away from these traditional practices and these beliefs, and you're just going to be a weak man. So
100%.
that's pretty much the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Anything else?
I think that was good. We covered a lot. And
I think we got all bases.
don't be a soy boy.
Yeah,
Let's get jacked. Let's get a
Do
test.
blood sports to raise your test with your friends. One dies. Who cares?
Oh, yeah.
He was
Exactly.
too weak.
Exactly.
And you get a test boost from killing one of your boys, so it works out perfect.
It's a good fair trade-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.